American consumers that have a prime credit score are starting to slip on their payments. That's super scary stuff because these are almost top tier credit. And when we're looking at prime credit, you're like, what is that range? What is that score? What is that range? So on FICO, prime is 660 to 719. And on Vantage score, it ranges from 661 to 780. And those are prime numbers. And when we're talking about prime credit, those are the people that should know how to use credit and how to utilize it. And they have a good history of paying back their loans. But check this out. It's not looking good. And in this article, they're basically saying that more Americans with prime credits are starting to not make payments because of job losses, because of stuff that's happening. And we're going to go over this article because it's absolutely crazy. US consumers with prime credits are starting to slip on payments. And this article is also saying that there's been an uptick in late stage delinquency in auto loans and mortgages as consumers grapple with budget constraints. And whenever I look at articles like this, I'm always looking at, why are we slipping on these payments? And I know over the last few years, everything just got more expensive. Everything is like double or triple the price that it used to be. Eggs, cars like skyrocketed in value, and they basically are now selling $70,000+ cars, car payments through the roof. And we're gonna watch a video here of a car dealership, and we're gonna go through some of these numbers. And I think this is why some of Americans are gonna start slipping on their credit card payments, because transportation is so expensive. And I want to know from you before we're gonna watch this video, do you think dealership is trying to normalize higher car payments? So let's watch this.
What's your car payment and what do you drive?
Just short of $2,700 a month. But every morning I have to decide if I'm going to drive the Tahoe Premier or the M4 Competition X.
What's your car payment and what do you drive?
$1,342, and I drive a Silverado 3500 HD.
Got a question for you. What's your car payment and what do you drive?
$700 a month. I drive a Chevy Silverado half-ton 2022 RST with a 3-liter diesel.
What's your car payment and what do you drive?
I drive a 2024 Chevy Silverado 1500 Black Widow, and my car payment's $610 a month.
What's your car payment and what do you drive?
Oh, God. My car payment's $420 a month, and I drive a 2021 Chevy Bolt.
What's your car payment and what do you drive?
I drive a 2025 Equinox Active, and my car payment is $293 a month.
So when we're looking at all this kind of stuff, when we're looking at all these car payments, they're absolutely bananas. If you're spending $2,700 on car payments, and you're probably a finance manager because you're not just a normal salesperson, I assume. I make this assumption. And I got an article here and actually got some numbers by ZipRecruiter what the average take-home pay is for an average American. So the gross annual salary of the 25 percentile is $3,000 a month. So then we got the average take-home pay is almost $5,000. So this guy has to be above average to just kind of make this all work out. So now when he's in the 75 percentile, he'd make about $6,000. So this dude with a $2,700 car payment needs to be in the 90th percentile, making about $9,000 a month to kind of comfortably afford that payment. And when you're rounding up to $9,000 and you're rounding his car payments up to $3,000, he's working a third of his month just to keep those wheels. And that is without insurance, tires, gas, and registration. And depending on where he's at, that registration weighs in heavily. 80% of you guys are not subscribed. So please subscribe and let's continue on with the video. That really weighs in heavily. So now you're looking at, okay, this dude just spent $3,000 on car payments and now housing. Then we all know electricity skyrockets, so now electricity comes on top of that. And in many places, you can't put electricity on your credit card. And so all of a sudden, it's starting to stack up. And then one of the greater fool's theories is, I'm never going to get laid off. It's only somebody else. And then all of a sudden, they do get handed the pink slip. And the dealership's starting to do less good because there's not that many people that can afford $80,000, $90,000 cars. So all of a sudden, you're in a downward spiral. Better atomic habits, right? They're not doing good. Your area's not doing good. Means car dealers aren't going to be doing good. Then it's kind of a trickle-down effect. So what do? You have to then increase your car prices to make up for the losses. And when that doesn't happen because people can't do it, they're going to be start sitting. They're going to be heavy weights sitting in your front yard, in your dealership, and they're just accumulating interest upon interest. And we're not during COVID no more where car lots are empty. No. We're now in a time where everything is tooth and nail. You got to bite and fight for every sale you got. Because I don't know people, and I've been on scrolling yesterday through TikTok and seeing these car salesmen. Some of them are behind on their goals. They're like, man, it's hard to get customers with not negative trading value, because during COVID, people sold them $20,000-$30,000 of extra of adjustments and everything. They had to finance that. And now they're coming in complaining that you told me that this was normal, and now your car value is way less than it was during COVID. And that loan, you got to roll it into the next one, or then you're going to have to write a check for the difference. And we all know how liquid Americans are right now. Not much at all. And so we're starting to see prime credit not doing so well. And it is so bad that people are slipping on their grocery loans. And this is the buy now, pay later system that you can do at Walmart. You can do it at a whole bunch of places, because it is just the name of the game. You're having some issues financially. You think you're gonna get laid off. Oh, let me delay this payment. Oh, let me delay that payment. And you just kind of kick the can down the curb and stop worrying about it. But as we've seen, there's been hundreds of thousands of layoffs in tech and shipping, DHL, and we're seeing that FedEx now, because people aren't buying. And now you, as a laid off person that watches my stuff, you're now in the race, because you have to get a job before September and October, because afterwards it's going to be the holiday season. Hiring's not really on anybody's priorities. If companies have PTO mandates that they got to take before the end of the year, or they lose it and they don't carry over, you got to take that time. And so it is now your responsibility to kick it into high gear, because if you're not going to do that during that time, you're going to be either stuck doing something for Amazon over the holidays. But I don't think this holiday season is going to be a very lucrative one, because people don't have the money, people got laid off. And so I'm going to be interested to see if this holiday season that's going to be coming up is going to be a win or a bust. But yeah, it is absolutely brutal. So if you're in the job search right now and you're like, I gotta do it, you gotta put it into high gear. You gotta start putting your head down and say, you know what? I just need something, because if I'm not gonna get something before Thanksgiving, afterwards, there's holiday upon holiday, and hiring managers are just gonna be on vacation. It's gonna take longer, and then you're gonna get a new job lined up for the next year. So make sure that you're like, I'm gonna kick it into high gear. I'm gonna take this seriously, and I'm gonna do better every application that I'm doing. 1% Atomic Habits. Get the book, the audiobook, if you don't want to read it, and stop listening to nonsense online about gossip and everything else, and start achieving your dreams. But yeah, this is where Americans are. It's strapped out, can't have no money to spare, falling behind. And I told you guys a long time ago that this funny money, this free kind of crazy shit with all the over asking price, everybody's selling out of toys, everybody's just selling everything and buying everything because there was funny money in the system. All of a sudden you're like, you know what? Reality's coming in. Sales need to be fought for, you gotta cater to the customer. You gotta meet the customer where he wants to meet, and not like, you know what, if you're not gonna come into dealership today, and if you're not gonna do business on my terms, you're out. No, now it's you do business on the customer's term, because he has the money and you sure need it. If he wants you to come up to his house and sign the paperwork, you gotta send a salesperson over there, send the paperwork or FedEx it or do whatever, because I'm telling you now, customer service, that's how you differentiate from good to bad. And it is just absolutely crazy. With everything going sky high, you don't want to lose any sales. You don't want to lose any opportunity to make money, because I bet you your competition isn't sleeping. Your competition is there to eat your lunch. And once we're seeing super prime, these people that have the higher credit scores having struggling too, then it's going to get even crazier and crazier. But as we're seeing, the money, the free funding, everything is starting to come to reality where we can't keep funding all these programs. We can't keep giving states these money where we're having cities with $1 billion deficits and everything just kind of come to a halt. And so now we're looking at, we gotta go back to the basics, treat customers right. We gotta make sure that the balancing the budgets for your personal household, for the country, for the city, for the state, everything has to be rebalanced. Once there was so much money introduced into the system, then everybody had money. Everybody was buying and shopping, and only a few of you guys were smart and said, I'm going to hold off. I'm going to wait till this whole thing kind of rolls over and comes out. And you can now see it's starting to come. You're starting to get good deals. I've showed you guys before RVs sitting on the lot, ATVs sitting, good deal, need to go because they need to get out of it, and all kinds of other stuff. So if you hold it off, you're going to be good. And if you're telling me, because I know there's going to be some, oh, I don't see that. I'm not, I'm not impacted. I don't see what you're talking about. Most of those people drive a 2009 Toyota Tacoma, paid off, have no mortgage, have no debt. And then they're like, I'm not seeing that because they were smart with money. They might got burned. One of my viewers that's constantly in my comment section lost everything in 2008. Now he's back up again, him and his wife. Lost everything, lived in a car. How amazing of a relationship that lasted. And I'm telling you, this is the American dream. When you lose it all in 2008, 2009, you've rebuilt everything in 12, 13, 14 years till 2025. This is the American dream. And I would doubt hard that you can do that in any other country where you basically live in your car in 2009, 2008, and then all of a sudden you're back on top again in 2025. And this is what it's all about. You live, you learn. Knowledge can't be taken. Your credit score, your financial stuff, credit, houses, everything can be taken. And then you're here with nothing but with your knowledge. And once you've done it, you can redo it. And this is what I said in my other video. And people have been saying, why don't you donate everything and come and redo it all? And why don't you do that? And I thought about it and I was like, I could do it, but it's going to make it harder for me because I'm not in my 20s anymore. I don't want to put in that insane amount of hours as I did when I was in my 20s. I don't want to do another full-time job. And after that job that I've done, working for contractors and doing some other stuff, then go home and work on my fixer upper that I've purchased for pennies on the dollar from a messy that I'm trying to gut. And Allie did the same thing. She was working, and after she was done work, she came to our house that we were gonna move into, that we bought our first house after the mobile home. And we were working on that, and we paid people per hour. So we made sure that they didn't have to clean up. They didn't have to do the easy stuff. They only had to do the skill stuff. So it makes it look good. So we were doing dump runs. We were doing cleanups. We were doing taping. We were doing all that after a full 8-9 hours worth of work. And when we lived in Santa Cruz, Allie commuted over the hill. And so me and Allie were working till 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. And then Allie had to get up and me had to get up at 5, 6 because these people started working at 7. And it was going on like that for months. And this is what I'm talking about that I don't want to do again. And you got to do that in your 20s when you can. And then you slingshot yourself into your 30s, 40s with no debt, with financial success, with properties, with a good house, with all kinds of stuff that you want, but you got to put in that work. And it's easy, and it's easier to do that when you're in your 20s than when you're in your 30s and 40s. Because, man, I was working yesterday, the last 2 days. I have a business partner in town, and we were fixing up a lot that we're going to put a house on. And it was just, I've noticed it when it's the sun hits and you're out there working and you're taking measurements where you're going to have to do stuff. It's hard. It is brutal. And when you're doing that and you don't do it every day, you're like, man, I'm toast at night. And so this is what I'm telling you guys. You got to do the extracurricular activities. Do it when you're young. Because if you do it when you're young, then it gets easy, then it's easier in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and you will have a super cool retirement. But if you're not going to do that in your 20s and 30s, and then in your 40s, you realize you had to do it and you should have done it, it's going to be really hard because you have to do that stuff, that extracurricular stuff in your 40s. And that's just going to be harder on your body, on your mind. And this is what I'm telling you, do it in your 20s and 30s. And if young people watch this, but I don't have a lot of young viewers, I have more people that are in their 30s and 40s. And then it's like, okay, and this should be advice for people in their 20s, in their, when you're 18, 20 years old, don't go to the bar, don't smoke the devil's lettuce, get yourself right, get yourself a mapped out plan and where you want to go in life. How do you want to design your life? Because if you're in your 20s and you want to go and be a homeowner, you want to live in $1 million house, you don't want to live with your parents in your basement and play Xbox every day. No, you want to make a career, you got to design it. And trust me, it's easier to work hard in your 20s and early 30s than it is in your 40s and 50s. You do not want to be one of these people, Colin Dave Ramsey, when you're in your 50s and 60s. I have $700 to my name and I have $60,000 in debt. You don't want to be like that. No, because it's going to be hard. And you're going to then have to think about leaving the country, moving to a way cheaper place. And you're not going to retire next to family or anything else. And you can't say, you know what? I'm going to pay for all my kids to go to South Lake Tahoe. And no, don't do that. You gotta work hard in your 20s and 30s. So once you're gonna have a family, you can then say, you know what, I'm gonna pay for them to all come to Tahoe or whatever you want to do, and be like, yep, I've worked hard for this. I've put in my time, and I don't need to redo it, and I don't need to do it. And so that's I was like, I could do it. If I lost it all, I could redo it again. But now I got Calvin on the way. Hallie's pregnant. I'm gonna have a family. So I was like, I don't want to do that hard work again as I did 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. I don't want to put in 80, 90 hours. No, I want to have less work, more enjoyment. And yeah, that's my advice to you. If you want to do that, do it today. Because as you're seeing, AI is getting harder um, to compete with. Entry level jobs are harder to get into, and salaries are starting to get harder to get. So you're seeing it. And yeah, life's just harder when you're older than when you're young, because when you're young, you can go out and party and be good tonight the other day, and you can drink and have a hangover and go to work the next day. That's not an issue. But I'm telling you, once you're in your 30s, it's gonna get harder. So if you're in your 20s and you're watching this video, make sure that you're like, maybe I shouldn't go out tonight. Maybe I should study a little bit or read some magazine about my industry and see if I can maybe get certified in I don't know, a tool, a certification for, I don't know, whatever your field is in, and trying to advance that way rather than going out drinking, having fun, and going to nightclubs. Because yeah, your 20s you can have fun, but man, your 30s to 40s, when you can come out during the daytime, make a video like this, pretty much freedom, right? And I appreciate you guys watching. And if you haven't, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.